Practice test 2, calculator section, question 27. This question is a graph interpretation question. As you can see, you're given a graph and you need to interpret the information given. So there's insulated and non-insulated written here, but we don't know what it's talking about. So let's read the description. 2 samples of water of equal mass are heated to 60 degrees Celsius. Okay, it starts from 60, so that makes sense. 1 sample is poured into an insulated container and the other sample is poured into a non-insulated container. Well, that explains the 2 points. The samples are then left for 70 minutes to cool in a room having a temperature of 25 degrees. Okay. The graph above shows the temperature of each sample at 10-minute intervals. Yeah, it skips. Yeah, it goes by 10, 10, 10, 10. Which of the following statements correctly compares the average rates at which the temperatures of the 2 samples change? So it's looking for how much it changes per 10-minute time interval. So you just need to look at one option and see it apart from the rest, if that makes sense. So first, we want to know the rate of change, and it kind of differs per time interval. So I just kind of wrote like an approximation of how much it changes. So from 0 to 10, the non-insulated seem to change around 18, and the insulated seem to change by 8. And for the 10 to 20 time interval, it was 9 for the non-insulated and 5 for the insulated. And then I went over to 40 to 50 because if you look at the options here, it's only it only cares about the 0 to 10, 10 to 20, and then it hops to 40 to 50 time interval. So you kind of need to look at just skim through the choices as well, so that you don't look for unnecessary information that the question's not asking you for. So yeah, so I skipped to 40 to 50 time interval, and it was 1 non-insulated, 3 insulated. And for the 50 to 60, it was 1 for the non-insulated and 2 for the insulated. And again, this is a box, and this whole thing talks about 10. So it's kind of hard to guess, but a rough estimation should be okay. Just as long as you're looking at the same place. You shouldn't be looking at the difference between this part here, You would want to be looking at this change and this change. Okay, so in every 10-minute interval, the magnitude of the rate of change of temperature of the insulated sample is greater than that of the non-insulated sample. The insulated is greater than the non-insulated the whole time? No, because look at this part. The insulated is far less than the non-insulated, so that is not true. In every 10-minute interval, the magnitude of the rate of change of temperature of the non-insulated sample is greater than that of the insulated sample. If you look at 10 to 20 time interval, then you'll know that it's greater. But then if you look over to 40 to 60 time interval, then the insulated is greater than the non-insulated. So not the case. You need to look at the whole graph, not just partially. In the intervals from 0 to 10 minutes and from 10 to 20, so here, the rates of change of temperature in insulated sample are of greater magnitude. It's less. So that's off. The intervals from 40 to 60 minutes, the rate of change of temperature on the non-insulated sample is greater. No, that is not true. It's the opposite, right? Which leaves us with option D. The rates of change of temperature of the non-insulated sample are greater. Yes, it's greater indeed. And whereas the intervals from 40 to 60, the insulated samples are greater in magnitude. Yes, yes, yes. So D is the correct answer.